University of Pretoria is the largest research-intensive university in this country and indeed on the African continent. We also have the widest range of academic programs. We have some programs that are quite unique on the continent, such as our veterinary science program. We also have the largest school of engineering. We cover all the disciplines you can think about: law, theology, management, humanities, arts, education, and of course there's our business school in Johannesburg, GIBS, or the Gordon Institute of Business Science.
A lot of people talk about producing a workforce, experience, quality of people going into the labour market. But I think it goes beyond that in terms of producing the intelligentsia for any society, providing space for people to think about complex problems, and creating an opportunity for young people to really explore their ideas and knowledge bases.
What we are doing here is training to the highest level with a clear understanding of where the international boundaries lie, where the benchmarks are. And I believe that here at UP we are training at a truly international level.
We need to also train them in such a way that when students leave, they become ambassadors of the University of Pretoria, but also they conduct research that responds to the needs of the community, but it's also to the needs of industry.
The University of Pretoria produces solid students with attributes to meaningfully enter the world out there.
Interdisciplinary research. You get a doctor, you get an entomologist, you get a chemical engineer working together to find a solution to malaria. That makes it fun as well, because the way they think and the things they know and what you know, putting it all together, sometimes 1 + 1 is much more than 2.
This transdisciplinary research has a very strong focus on working science with society rather than science for society.
Our vets can be out in the field and help the farmer produce the maximum amount of food from that animal. That has an overall impact on the welfare of the country in terms of nutrition, but also on the economics of the country.
You're solving real problems in the real world, and hence you're making a major impact in South African society, helping industries to become more efficient, and your research also helps you to make a contribution to the international space because you can tell people about the work that you're doing and how it's helping the industries in South Africa and, of course, international companies as well.
Because we are in Pretoria, we are ideally located to engage in real politics and real life with actual decision makers. A lot of our research can speak directly to policy, and it feeds directly into the decisions that are made both in this country but also that are made by other African countries.
Oftentimes when people ask me, why has this, call it experiment, been so incredibly successful, I say, I think the first thing is that we are an incredibly diverse community. People from all over South Africa, all over Africa, and all over the world means that different cultures are mixing, getting to know each other, thinking differently.
I wanted to be at the best university that can offer me the best education and the best sport, and University of Pretoria took the cup. There's the track, there's the high performance center, they have coaches available to you, they have everything you need as an athlete to be the best athlete you can be.
To experience the holistic student life, it's quite important that people do form part of some kind of artistic endeavor.
We have students in class who come from extremely different backgrounds, and they're learning, they're living together. Most important, they're engaging together.
Growing up, I didn't have exposure to other races and cultures, but when I came to the university, I was so shocked at the many, different people that I actually met and so many similarities that we actually have. And yeah, my perceptions have actually changed because of the people I've met here.
I like Res because you get to be a part of a tradition and a culture. It adds on to the student life.
There's student support where you can go for a program where they teach you how to study, how to approach things, and just help with bridging the gap between university and high school.
Every student that passes through the university system sees him or herself as having a responsibility to go out there and make a little difference.
I like to think that there is such a thing as a UP person. right? People who are able to function in this very difficult time in a multicultural, multinational, multi-ethnic and racial environment and just get on with it. And that's why I think UP is a very special place to be.
Each year we graduate over 12,000 professionals for the South African economy, and they make a difference. Our students are likely to be leaders in their communities, in business, in government, and we may have from among our students a future president of the country.
Good morning. Goeiemorgen. Dumelang, re a le amogela. I welcome you all with a lot of joy to the open day of the University of Pretoria. I just want to let you know that the amphitheater just outside of here is also available, and there will be live streaming that is being shown there. So some of the people who are not able to come in are free to go there and watch the proceedings from there. Secondly, I would like to announce once again that there are 4 bursaries, and you will have seen if you went to the desks that we were handing out forms like this, which you can complete. Each of the bursaries is worth 30,000, so it's a total of 120,000 that we'll be giving out in bursaries. 2 winners will be drawn at 2 separate draws at the Tax FM stall right outside of here. If you haven't completed the form, please complete that form. We will do the draw at 11, the first draw, and then the second draw at 12. Each time we will hand out 2 bursaries, 30,000 rand each, 60,000 at a go, and then at 12 o'clock we are going to do it again. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like now to invite the UP Drama Department to perform an act which is titled After All. It is choreographed by Bailey Sneyman, and the original music to the choreography is done by Daniel Giddis, who is from the UP Drama Department. So I now ask that we welcome them with their music. And if you could clap your hands a little bit, let me see that you are alive. Thank you. such elegance and such grace. Please give them another round of applause. Thank you. I think the elegance describes the experience of being at the University of Pretoria, the ease with which they moved, the beauty of it. That is how our graduates move in the world. I now want to call upon the Principal and Vice-chancellor of the University of Pretoria to come and share a message with us, Professor Cheryl Delaray.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In my capacity as the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, a very warm welcome to you and thank you very much for joining us on this sunny but winter morning in our city of Pretoria. Ladies and gentlemen, your presence here today, and particularly to the parents and guardians who have accompanied your loved ones, your presence suggests to me that you have already taken the decision that your loved one, your son, your daughter, niece or nephew, your granddaughter will be going to university 2018, or if they're a little younger, in the future. And that what you're now majorly concerned about is which university should they enroll at. And perhaps as you sit in the audience this morning, you're feeling a little anxious about the state of South African universities, particularly in the context of last year, where across the country we saw the Fees Must Fall movement and the associated protests. You're also perhaps thinking about, is the University of Pretoria going to be the right choice? You might have other issues on your mind, because these are turbulent times in our country, South Africa. We just see on a daily basis, as we listen to the news or watch the news, that we have protests across our country. Also in the past week, if we look further beyond borders of South Africa, you might have seen what happened in Brazil and in certain parts of the United States and Europe. So the question on your mind might be, should you consider the University of Pretoria? I want to answer you, or provide you with an answer that is straightforward, completely frank and honest, and I want to give you a simple answer this morning. I believe you should choose the University of Pretoria for one simple reason, and that reason is that we are very serious about one single priority, and that's academic excellence. There's nothing else that matters as much to us. And we focus all our efforts on the success of our students. Whether our students are passing or failing, whether they're graduating in time, if they enrolled in a 3-year degree, will they finish in 3 years? What happens to our graduates once they leave the university? Are they able to seek a job successfully? Do they succeed in society? These are the questions that matter most to us. Towards the end of last year, again, I refer you to those events. You as parents and guardians may have been concerned about what was going to happen to the 2016 academic year. We made a promise to all the parents and students at this university that we would complete that 2016 academic year, and we would do so in time. And ladies and gentlemen, we kept that promise. And we were able to do so because we are serious about the academic success of our students. The University of Pretoria is one of the oldest universities in this country. We are over 100 years old. We started in 1908 in a very small way with a staff of 4 professors and 3 lecturers and only 32 students. Today, we have a student component close to 50,000. Over these years, We have survived many protests. We have seen major events such as world wars, changes in our government, the rise and end of apartheid, the birth of our democracy, and of course, we deal with the current challenges in our democracy. But what has remained constant at this university, and will remain constant, is our unwavering commitment to academic excellence and the success of our students. So over the last century and more, we've not only survived all of these changes, but we've thrived and grown as an institution. We consistently attract a large proportion of South Africa's very top performing school leavers. I want to give you some facts to demonstrate. This year, in our 2017 class of new first-year students, we were able to attract approximately 1/3 of matriculants who obtained 6 or more distinctions in their final examinations. That cohort of students chose to come to the University of Pretoria. Even at the very top tier in the National Senior Certificate, 40% of all students who had 6 or more distinctions applied to come to this university. In the Independent Examination Board, the IEB exams, from the 925 learners nationally with 6 or more distinctions, 51%, slightly more than half, applied and were admitted to the University of Pretoria. We are serious about our selection processes and making sure that we select students who are serious about studying. We are placed in the top tier of South African universities for student success, and we've been recognized by one of the top US foundations as a leader in student success. Ladies and gentlemen, what we take pride on is our holistic approach to education and to undergraduate studies in particular. And I want to outline to you 3 steps to explain what this actually means. Step 1 is the choice you make, whether you choose to come and enroll at this university. We try to assist you in making that choice. So please follow up today by contacting us about subject choices or any questions you may have. This is what we do in step 1. Once you've chosen to enroll at the university or you apply, we then move into what we call step 2. And you would have seen as you walked around the campus, we call this our Fly at UP campaign. Fly standing for the finish line is yours. What this campaign is about is making sure that once we admit and register a student, we do all we can to make sure that each student succeeds in completing their degree on time. Therefore, we invest money in programs about time management, setting goals, study skills, how to choose courses. And furthermore, you will also see today as you walk around that we believe an education is not just about what happens in the classroom. We invest significantly in arts, culture, and sport. Just to give you an example, we have 120 registered student societies, ranging from the debating society, drama groups, music groups, religious groupings, and of course, political groupings. Then there are choirs. This year, the University of Pretoria Camerata Choir is traveling to Europe later in the year in July. They're the only South African and African choir to have been selected to perform at the World Choir event. I'm also sure that you know that at Tux we take our sport seriously. While you might be familiar with our competitive edge in rugby, this year we won the Varsity Cup Rugby. On Monday night, we're playing Marties in the hockey finals. We also competed and won the athletics this year. But it's not only about competition. We encourage all our students to be involved in some kind of sporting activity. So we also offer many other sporting codes that are perhaps less popular at school level, such as golf and archery, to name 2. We have 34 sporting codes in total. Now you may ask me, Professor De La Rey, why do you do this? After all, this is a time when universities are under financial pressure, and we are aware of that. But we strongly believe that a university experience is about developing and graduating into society well-rounded individuals. Individuals who are equipped to deal with challenges that they will face in their future careers. So we provide these opportunities because what you learn in sport, in culture groups, will take you far ahead in the future. The ability to work in multicultural teams, for example. How to deal with losing. One often learns that in sport because that is a necessary part of life and life skills. But let me return to what happens in the lecture room or the curriculum itself. Ladies and gentlemen, we have embraced what we call a hybrid teaching model. And for the simple reason that the world is changing rapidly. In a recent book, 3 global luminaries in the international business world inform us that change is happening today faster than ever before in the history of humanity. The pace of change, they tell us, has increased by a factor of 10. Therefore, we understand that it's our duty as a university to offer our students an educational experience that will prepare them for this fast-changing world. And what's driving this change? Technology, as we all know. It's predicted that globally there are more than 8 billion internet-connected devices, and by 2020 there will be over 50 billion. Rather than seeing this as a hindrance to learning, we see this as an opportunity. So what we're doing is embracing advances in technology as an educational tool for academic success. So, if you don't know, I want to inform you about an online program called UP 101, which we'll be offering to students even before they come to us as a first year. Once they apply and you're given provisional admission, you will have access to this online program. We also, once a student is admitted, run something called a Student Academic Readiness Survey to tell us and the students about their level of motivation, what skill support the student may need, and what mentorship they might require, and we respond accordingly. It's our first step in saying to our students, we care about you, but you also need to take responsibility for your learning, and we'll work with you in your success. Then let me turn to stage 3 in our life cycle support. And stage 3 is about what happens to our students after graduation. We understand that university fees are expensive, and people have to make sacrifices to come to be a university student. And I'm sure that you're all concerned about jobs, whether your son, daughter, or loved one will be able to find employment after graduation. It is a burning issue across the country, particularly at a time where our economy is stagnating and not growing. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just received the latest graduate survey. This is a survey from all universities across the country, looking at what happens and how long their graduates take to find jobs after graduation. That survey has told us the University of Pretoria is a top performer, that the vast majority of our graduates, close to 90%, find their employment of choice within 6 months after they leave the university. This in this tough academic climate. But we're not happy with that. So this year, we will be launching 2 additional programs as part of our stage 3 commitments. The first one of these will be work readiness. It's a special program to help our students to jump to the head of the queue when they seek their job after graduation. We'll be preparing them for interviews. We will assist them in finding opportunities for internships while they're with us, so by the time they graduate, they're better prepared for the world of work. The second component we're calling Tux Novation. Tux Novation is about student entrepreneurship. Many of our students have brilliant ideas. We also know that several of these ideas are commercially viable. Some of our students have already succeeded with apps they've developed while they're undergraduate students. We also have learned from changes in the world in the last 10 years that many of the social media inventions, for example, are inventions of university students. We would like to enable our students to succeed commercially and entrepreneurially even before they graduate. And hence we'll be launching this year Tux Novation. So ladies and gentlemen, these three stages are about the overall experience at the University of Pretoria. We take it very seriously, and that's why you will also see that our facilities are world-class. You will notice that there's construction underway in 2 sites at the university. These construction facilities is about producing, one of them will be producing in 2018 a world-class facility for our visual arts and our music students. Each year, we undertake further construction and maintenance to ensure that the environment is an enabling one for our students. You will also see today, and if you haven't, I encourage you to explore further, the University of Pretoria offers the widest range of choices of academic programs. There are more than 100 different academic programs, and yes, it can be confusing, but we are here to assist you. I particularly want to address my last and final message to the parents, family members, and guardians present. Many of you are concerned about the choice of academic program, but please bear in mind, it's very difficult for a 17-year-old, typically, to decide whether they're going to pursue engineering, IT, psychology, accounting, biotechnology, and so on. So parents, don't be alarmed if you think they're not making the right choice from day one, because we do allow our students to change their choices once they're enrolled at the university. What's most important is that they apply and become registered. I also wish to assure you that if they choose the program that you as a parent don't think is necessarily best for them, that many recent studies show us that what matters most after graduation, and particularly here in South Africa, is which university is on their degree certificate rather than the specific program. If you look at the list of CEOs in different companies today, you will often see that accountants, for example, are heading up mining companies. BA graduates are CEOs of banks. So there's no necessary connection between success in one sphere of business and your first degree, because we are at a time when students make choices not only at 17, but they can change their minds, and they may change their minds yet again for their postgraduate studies. In the survey I mentioned to you, 48% of the students who were graduating at the University of Pretoria decided to continue with us as postgraduate students. They did so because they had better knowledge as a postgraduate of which area they wish to specialize in for their future career. So parents and guardians, please don't stress too much if you feel that they're not making the right choice right now at age 17 or 18. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, please do ensure that you get your application in as early as possible. For 2018, we've already opened applications, or we opened on the 1st of March, for all our selection programs. By that I mean those where we have limited spaces, like medicine, some of the engineering programs. We will be closing applications on the 30th of June. So please make sure you get your application in And as I said to you, every student will have an opportunity to change their minds about which course they choose later. So, welcome again to the University of Pretoria. I assure you that every one of us as staff members as this university is focused on one area and one priority only, and that is academic success. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Professor De La Rey, for such an informative, very rich message that makes it clear that the University of Pretoria should be the first choice for all of you sitting here and those watching on stream. I don't know many universities in this country that will offer you such a variety of offerings. I don't know many universities that will prepare you for entrepreneurship, for sport, for excellence in the manner that Professor De La Rey has just explained to us now. So if you're not signing up for the University of Pretoria, there is something wrong with you, I would say. So thank you very much, Professor De La Rey, and I now want to remind you once again, there is a 30,000 rand bursary to be won. Please make sure that you have filled the form and that you move to the Tax FM area in front here where the first draw will be made. We will come back here again for the second session at 12:30. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tinyiko Maluleke, and it was a pleasure hosting you. Thank you very much.
There's no combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I could sing, but I can try for your heart. And our dreams, and they are made out of real things, like a shoebox of photographs with sepia tone loving. Love is the answer, at least, for most of the questions of my heart.